Welcome back to our part 2 of our tutorial series on making Sidescroller using Overlap2D and libGDX. If you remember, in the part 1 we made this little level and a ship that was walking left and right and jumping. If you didn't follow the first tutorial, then go back and watch it first and then come back here. Now in this tutorial part we're going to do some learning on how UI is done in new Overlap2D, what types of UIs are there, and generally how to do it. And when I say UI, in this case I will mean simple things like buttons and dialogues and things like that. First of all, let's go ahead and see that I added some new images here that I want us to use. Those are again 9-page images that are good to use for UI. This is a button and with press state, some HP bar maybe for later, and a close button and it's pressed and non-pressed state. So let's do the import resources and let's just take just these two for now, drag them here, and you can see we have our buttons in our images list. By the way, you can search for things in the search box, so if you start typing something like that, it will filter out things. So if you have a big list, it's very convenient for you. Now if you drop this button here and let's zoom in, you can zoom in by pressing Control and scroll, or you can just do Control plus or Control minus. So let's give it a proper size, something like that, and maybe text. So okay, something like that. Good. Okay, so this is a center, and I think we're going to use something like 60. No, 60 too much. 40 maybe. The center, and like not Arial, no. So hard to choose a font. Alright, label works good. So this is some kind of button. I don't know what it will do right now, but this will do. And we're going to right click and select that all and convert to button. Now if you just click on it, nothing happens, and when you say convert to button, just several things happen. Convert to button action converts this to a composite item, and besides that it adds, well, it should add, I think, some kind of, oh yes, here. So it has a button tag on it, so that you can have other buttons with logic with that. And if we go in, we have this normal and press states. So first of all, let's make this visible, and we don't need this button. This can, okay, default can go up, and we can rename it to like text, and the text is there, but the background image, we want to move it to, okay. So just got a little problem here that is fixed now. Let me just zoom in here, and this is the press state, so it's in the press layer. This is in text, and this one is on the normal layer. So let's go ahead and put this little one just like this, and they're currently visible together, but they shouldn't be. When this will become a real button, this will actually be pretty clickable. So yeah, everything is in place. Good, let's go ahead and export this and run. And you have our little button here, and when you click, nothing happens, which is okay because there is no button script right now on our engine. So what we can do here is say, like as you noticed, our this one has kind of a button tag, right? So what we want to do is for this button to also have a component on it that will make it a button. So here we'll do something like this. We'll do let me just remember this. Scene loader add components by tag name, and it takes it's a tag name and a component class. So we're going to do something like button and new button component. Now I'm going to just move this outside and say button component equals this. So, and now then, because this is done, what? All right. So something like that. And now you can see it's pretty clickable. If we wanted to, we could make those little texting go to press the normal layers and be clickable and behave differently to on click, but that's it. Now if you want to add some kind of action here, you can do it by retrieving the button component. So something like, oh, by the way, how about we mark this button with an identifier. So this is like some kind of button, and we'll say root get child button and get and we can get component just like that. But there are several types you can get the component from entity, like by using this method or by using component retriever. Now this method is a little bit slower than component retriever, so it depends where you do it. Because we're currently in the create method, so this is not an iterating action that always happens, I think it's okay to do get component here, but if it happens somewhere in render, then you better use component retriever. Now, so that we have the component here, we can add listener to it, new button listener, and do something like when it's clicked, come out hello. Yeah. Okay. Now if we click on it, you can see that hello is getting printed here. Now, the problem with this, if we kind of do something like for example, as you can see, when we move our ship around, the camera stays the same, right? So we want to move our camera with the ship. So how about we center the camera on the ship? To do that, let's first of all move our viewport out. Like that. And what we want to do here, and why not? I think we might need the root element as well. So here we're going to do something like viewport. Oh, sorry. So actually, I think we can ask the. I'm trying to get a way to ask player for coordinates. So let's have a method here. Like x, which will return transform component x, and something for the y. Good. So now here we can do something like viewport get camera, and this is not just any camera, and then we're going to get its position and set its player get x, clear get y, and 0 for the z coordinate. And as you can see, camera is kind of now fixed on this shape. Now if you pay attention here, the button is not anymore in our side because the button is not moving with the camera, and that's the problem with doing a button inside the entity engine. So if you put your button inside as an entity like we just did, it will not move with the camera. You can actually write a code to move it with the camera, but then you will have to write a code to zoom it and zoom out and then do some other stuff. So that's a general problem. Now for that type of purpose, I recommend doing something else. What we can do here is create a new class that we'll call our UI stage, where we'll put our UI. So it's going to extend stage, which is a libGDX stage. It's a Sim2D class made for UI. And here, so let's just command out this part. We don't need this button here. First of all, we're going to right click on it, or you can just click on this little link here. It says not in library, so we want to put this button in library and say this is our menu button. Okay, so now that it's a menu button, you can see it's in a library and you can drag and drop as much as you can of it. Now we don't need it on the scene, because if it's on the scene, it moves. If camera moves, it moves too. So we're not going to have it on the scene. And right, our UI stage will be showing it instead. For it to do it, I think, I'm not really sure, but I think we can, let's first create the UI stage here. So something like, so now let's remove this and go private stage UI stage. Okay. What we're going to do too is to pass the resource retriever, which is something that helps us retrieve the resources like texture and stuff and information about our scenes. What's up with that? Okay. Here's what we can do with IR. So we have our libraries are stored in our project vo. So we're going to retrieve that. So we're going to say project info vo equals, so this is project info equals ir get this, and you can see this is library items, and we can get a library item by name. So we're going to say this one is called menu button. Now I'm going to create a composite actor, my button actor, and going to be a new composite actor, and it's going to take its data and construct itself. Besides that, it will be requiring this. I can just do simple add actor, button actor, and let's not forget that our UI stage needs to be rendered after we do render our main engine. So UI stage act, and UI stage draw. So first our engine does its thing, and then we render the UI. Okay. Let's see what happens here. And as usual, forgot to export the scene. And you can see we have the button here, and it's not clickable at all, but it moves with the camera. First of all, let's position it at the right top corner. So button actor, set X, get width minus button actor, get width, and then button actor, set Y, get height minus button actor, get height. So there's no margins, we don't need them. Just like that. Now you notice that the button isn't clickable, so when you click it, nothing happens. The reason is our current stage is not listening for inputs. So to do this, we just do GDX input, set input processor this, and this should make it clickable. So when you click on it, it does its thing. Now if we want to do just add some click listeners to it, we can do add listener, new click listener, just like that, and just do something like system out println I. Nope. Oh, change. Crap. So there's gotta be something like this. Yep. Just added the wrong listener. Now it should work. Yep, and we have highs here. So yeah. Now some explanation here is required. As you can see, there are two types to add the UI, and the second type, like this one, the stage one, you can use when you need the UI that this always stays over with the camera, so like it's a HUD or some kind of buttons that go back to the main menu or something like that. So if you don't intend to move the camera, you can use the first method. If you do plan to move the camera, use the second method. Besides that, well, it's completely up to you, and we haven't even decided which is the best one yet. Besides that, I would have to say that you can also use the first method if you want to have some kind of clickable interactive elements in your game, like maybe it's some kind of flag that user needs to click and something happens, things like that. So they're good for the first method as well. So when you finally made a decision, you can move ahead, but I think whatever you do, you still need to have this stage one, because whatever you do, in most of the games, camera moves and you do have elements on top of everything. So this is the way to go. Now, so we can go here and remove this. We don't need this anymore. And let's not. So how about we just say x equals to this. I don't want to move everything of the camera right now, just the x coordinate. So yes, this is exactly what I want. Awesome, so we do have buttons, and the other question you may ask, so yeah, what if I don't want to have more than one button? What if I want to have the button here and something else like here, and like entire big menu screen here? So obviously you don't want to do that one by one by placing each button in its coordinate. You can, I mean, you can have a table here and then put them in the table cells, and they will stretch with your screen. That's kind of a pain to do, but if you do that, you will have a pretty responsive UI, so that's one way to do it. The other way to do it is you can take all your UI elements like this and then combine them into another composite and add it to library, and then you can, again with this one step here, add that huge composite to your stage and that'll do the trick as well. And composite actor, it does provide all the methods you need to retrieve items by their identification, to retrieve items by their tag names, things like that. So yeah, I guess we're gonna stop here for the part 2, because we have finally the UI, and we're gonna see you in the part 3 of this tutorial next time and make some actual game. Have fun.